Being a shining light is the next chapter in my book, Only God is Good. I will read from Matthew chapter 5, verse 14 through 16. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. So in this chapter that I just read, Jesus was that shining light for us to see. Whether you are a Christian or not, Jesus set a good example for people to follow in order to live your life in a pleasing manner to God. He was obedient to God and followed God's will. He was loving to all, and he fed on the word of God all day and all night. He poured out his love on everyone. He was powerful, but yet came as meek and humble, and even washed the feet of those he was leading. He cared about the poor and about the neglected, but yet he was willing to give the worst of the sinners forgiveness. He led a sinless life that was dedicated to bringing others closer to God. We have to aspire to be more like Jesus. We should always ask ourselves, what would Jesus do, and try to follow his examples. Even the dark cannot be put out a shining light. So we must let our good light show so others will have an example of how to live. Jesus gave us a blueprint, and now we must follow it so others will follow. It is more difficult to follow what people say, but it is much easier to follow what they do. People can tell you not to steal, but when you see that the same person is stealing, some people may think it is okay. So it's not just good enough to become hearers of the word. We must also become followers or doers of the word. Heck, even the devil knows the word. And he knows that God and Jesus exist. You know, the devil believes in God. He believes in Jesus, but so we have to show that we believe through what's in our hearts, by our actions, how we treat others as well. We have to let the goodness in our heart come out in our actions so we can be a living testimony of righteousness. Who lights a lamp and covers it up? Often at times what we do in the dark comes out in the light. So although we may sometimes think we are getting away with bad behavior, it has a way of coming back around and hurting us when we least expect it. That's karma. Sometimes, it may take years in the future before it comes back around. But most likely, it is coming one way or another. So we must take necessary actions to be right with God and to show the world we are a child of God, to give all the glory to God, and we need to glorify the Lord when we walk that narrow path of righteousness so people can see that we are a shining light and shining example, just like Jesus was. God bless.